on this game from 27th of February, game of the day. So it was a noisy pass, so you don't want to hear that. And white plays e4, and so I'm playing Alekhine. The reason that we play Alekhine is to make unusual opening situations, force our opponent to think. If then they are playing systems, they're going to not be so on their home ground, their happy ground. We want them out of their comfort zone is one of my principles of chess. Get my opponent uncomfortable, get him into uncharted territory, all that sort of bejubers. Now, like to block this, that's always my tendency here, because he's going to just try and ram that towards me with the queen behind it like that. So we just block it. Now he does the attack there, and I can just defend my pawn one of three ways: bishop, knight, or pawn. Tend to use the pawn, sometimes use the knight. Don't really like this bishop here because I like to put the knight there sometimes, but it's okay. Might have moved it to c6 as well there to just block off that knight completely, but I didn't. Instead, doing that little pawn move, trying to make this more of a lattice, more of a force field type of effect. And using the bishop to defend that knight. I prefer to use a knight to defend the knight because it's just more annoying. It's more annoying for my opponent to take a knight and have it cloned. I call it cloning. And we castle, that's the end of the opening. Is he going to trade that knight for the bishop? I don't think he is. It's not a particularly good bishop for me at the moment. And I'm just getting some light square action going with my pawns on there, on the queen side. To sort of create holes for the other bishop. I quite like to move my pawns in such a way that my opponent can never quite tell what colour squares I'm putting them on. And then he'll sometimes steal my bad bishop, thinking he's stealing my good bishop, and then I turn it into a good bishop, my bad one. Anyway, I don't think that was exactly what was going on here. It was more a question of just racking on with the pawns there. I mean, he shouldn't have let that happen. He really shouldn't have let that happen. I can do a shot over the bows here, but is it worth it? I felt it was. But I'm going to have to either take it or retreat a little bit with that rook, but I can still continue with my control of the file, which is the most important thing. Knight's looking a bit stuck there, this queen knight of mine. I need to get that out. So probably going to be looking at a6, b4. Yeah, predictable. So what do? Keep the pressure on. Don't retreat. Rooks on the 7th rank is always extremely annoying. And you can just repeat this, or I can attack that pawn that I was talking about on b4. We don't want to draw particularly. He maybe does want to draw. I think he's in a good position for a draw. I've also still got a check with my dark coloured bishop there, looking at the g5 square. He tries to do something a little bit weird here. I don't know what the idea is there. It doesn't seem to strengthen his position, in my opinion. So now, his king is looking extremely exposed. And now we're getting ready with this bishop coming across. That's a pretty cheap steal. I'm wanting to get the bishop onto that f5 square, just move the queen over, so as I do so I don't reveal the queen for an exchange of queens. We don't want that. Unfortunately, that gives him the bishop, but it also gives me checkmate. So a bit of a cheeky little temptation for him there. He wants a rematch. He's not going to get it. And that was my game of the day. I hope you enjoyed that one. Don't know what rating it got me up to. 1936 on that day.